Okay, so welcome. We're going to go over this case here. It's a case that has, she had a thyroid condition, Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So I just kind of want to walk you through the steps of what was actually going on. So you can see here she's 45. She has 2 kids. She's had, weight problems, hair loss. That was the big one, is her hair is literally falling out. She had migraine headaches. Her skin was really flaky. She didn't feel like she really had a really good skin. Her skin was getting flaky and just not as thick. She had chronic hot flashes, here thin hair, chronic fatigue. She'd wake up at 2 a.m. to 4 a.m., 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. So she always had like chronic sleep problems. Her digestion was horrible. It would go from constipation, diarrhea, more diarrhea than constipation. Sometimes she'd only make a bowel movement every 2 to 3 days, which is not good. 70-80% of your immune system is located in your small intestine, so you gotta make sure your digestive system is well. She had chronic bloating. She thinks that she has leaky gut, which she actually did have leaky gut. She's on 𝗰𝗺𝗃𝗀𝗵𝗵 for her, so they put her on 𝗰𝗺. She was on birth control in 2007, and that actually caused she actually had an aneurysm from the birth control. So these are some tests that we've done here on her, and you can see here what's going on is this is the initial date right here, and then this is where we repeated it. So this is the test to see how aggressive, because if you have a thyroid condition, you probably have an autoimmune disease against your thyroid, and this measures how aggressive your autoimmune disease is. So initially you want this less, let me just say this, less than 9. Right now, when she first came to us, she had 4,600. Now she knew that she had Hashimoto's thyroiditis. She knew that she had an autoimmune disease. Her medical doctor diagnosed her with that, but the problem is they don't know what to do about it except give you medication. That's not going to curb an autoimmune disease. So within a matter of 5 months here, you can see the drastic changes. She went from 4,600 to 2,600. That's almost a 2,000 point drop in her autoimmune disease against her thyroid. Here's another marker, which is HS, stands for high sensitivity CRP. This is an inflammatory marker. You want this less than 1. All right, that's what you want, less than 1. Initially, she comes in at 19.3, and then same time frame, we drop that down to 13. So what do we know about her autoimmune disease and her inflammation? That's gone down substantially, and this is why she's doing so better. Her digestive system's better, her hair's growing back, her nails are thinner. Here's one on cholesterol. Her cholesterol was 227, and now it's 160. So this isn't with drugs or anything with that like that. This is functional medicine at its best, an individualized, tailored, custom program where you can get better. So you're out there suffering, and you go to the doctor, and the doctor says, your labs are normal. It's all in your head. Here's some antidepressant medication. That's not justice for you. You deserve better than that. Here's vitamin D. When she first came into us, it was 16. Now it's 61. Vitamin D, lots and lots of research on vitamin D and having an autoimmune disease. You need to have high levels of vitamin D. I'd like to see that closer to 100, actually. You can see right down here that the lab high is 100. So I'd like to see that between 80 and 100 is the most ideal thing. Her TSH, which this marker here, when she came into us, was actually elevated, even though she was on 𝗰𝗺. And then here, look at what's happened down here. It went down to 0.07. She's actually, her TSH is really decreased now. Like, why is that? That is because her body is functioning and healing much better. Her body's producing her own thyroid medication now. So what she has to do is she actually has to decrease her 𝗰𝗺 and decrease that amount of 𝗰𝗺 that she's on, because her body is doing so much better. Here's a stress survey that she comes in. This is something I have all my patients fill out. You can see here, this is like the organ system. So this has to do with the colon, the intestinal system. And what I really look for is areas that have a lot of 2s and 3s. So let's just go down here for detoxification. She has a lot of 3s down there. Then down here, she has a lot of 2s and 3s on sugar, so she had a sugar problem. Insulin resistance, she was pre-diabetic, a lot of 2s and 3s. Adrenal fatigue, she actually had adrenal fatigue, so I'll be showing you some tests on that. She also had a bunch of stuff with her thyroid, so I mean she had a Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And down here you can see that she's on 𝗰𝗄𝗃𝗃 50 milligrams. So here's her testing. This comes from Quest Labs. This is about 12 vials of blood that we took. I'm just going to briefly go over the highlights here. So anything that is in blue means that it's out of range. So I kind of showed you some before and after labs, but you can see here that her cholesterol was 232. We decreased that quite a bit. She's chronically inflamed. This is a marker for homocysteine. That's a marker for DNA replication. So if you have high levels of homocysteine, you have poor DNA replication in your body. So DNA is needed for every cell in your body. Here she has a hemoglobin A1C, which is a marker for diabetes. You can look down here. She has consistent with the increased risk for diabetes. She's pre-diabetic. When I look at people that have autoimmune diseases, thyroid conditions, lupus, 95% of the people that come see me have some kind of blood sugar dysregulation. They have some kind of glucose problems that have gone unchecked. You can see her TSH here was high and now it's low. Reverse T3, this is a huge one right here that you're probably not going to get checked. Reverse T3 is, we like to see this less than 15. Okay, less than 15, she's at 20. What reverse T3 does is that actually puts on the brakes. So this is a hormone in your body that puts on the brakes on your thyroid hormone. So if you have increased reverse T3, your thyroid hormone is not going to be working properly the way it actually should. When I move down here, you can see these antibodies against your thyroid are 4,600. Let's kind of move down to some other things here. We have fasting insulin here. Okay, this is a huge marker. We want to see this less than 5. Okay, she's at 15. This has to do with sugar problems in her body, not having too much sugar, not eating the correct diet. Okay, so this is starting to make sense here. If you've never had a workup on this, you really need to see a functional medicine doctor. You need to email me so you can get some help. Here's vitamin D levels. We want that between, lab range is 30 to 100. We want to see it between 80 and 100. And if you recall, she was at 60. All right. So then what I do is I put this in a in a graph. So what I like about this is this is a nice printout where you can see here anything that's in this clear here means that you're normal. Anything that's yellow would tell you that this is a lab marker that's moving to a disease state. And anything that's in hot pink tells you that's bad news. Or anything that's in red tells you that's bad news. And anything that's in hot pink tells you it's really, really high. So I just want you to just show you what's going on with her. She never had the correct workup. Let's just kind of go up here. Look at how many. She has 15 yellows. She has, let's see here. She has 10 broken strings, and she has 4 alarm conditions, and she just never had the correct workup. You have to have the correct workup to figure out what's going on. We also checked her adrenal glands to see how her adrenal glands are functioning. She had chronic fatigue. This is a 4-point test, morning, noon, evening, and at night. And you want to see this in that dark green area. And you can see right here that she's actually light green here. So she has chronic fatigue. She's in phase 2 of chronic fatigue. That's where she's sitting right here. So this is another workup that we did. We also looked at her food sensitivity testing. She was sensitive to dairy. She was sensitive to eggs. Moving down here, and she was actually sensitive to peanuts. So we started changing her diet around. And this is her exact plan on how we got her better. You can see here, it started here 12, 12, 16. So the first thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to eliminate all the foods that she's sensitive to. I told her to cut her carbs and start increasing more healthy fats. I also have a whole video library here to educate you so you understand what's going on. So I had her watch these 3 videos that I've designed and created here. Actually, there's one actually down here, Save Your Brain. So I had her listen to all those workshops to make sure that she understand what was going on and how her body was functioning. I started her on fish oil, digestive enzymes, probiotics. So she took 100 billion probiotics per day. We started her on vitamin D and glutathione, which is an autoimmune to help her autoimmune condition. We started on trace minerals. I had her keep a food diary. I also had her keep a BM journal to see how often that she was going to the bathroom. And we started this on a gradual process, and in 2 weeks we had a phone consult. And these are the follow-up visits. So 12/12/16, it was a 50-minute office visit. She started going gluten-free. She was still having constipation and diarrhea 50/50. 2 weeks later, it's been going really good. She's not as bloated. She can put on her jeans. Her BMs are much better. There's no diarrhea at this point. She started doing the bulletproof coffee, taking MCT oils. She watched the Save Your Brain workshop, and she's doing full supplements and glutathione. In January 25th, it was a 35-minute office call. That was actually a phone call. So she's doing quite well. She needs no more naps. Her constipation, she's making bowel movements every single day, and it was every 3 to 4 days. She's less bloating. So she's doing much, much better. Her periods are doing better. Her hands, she's sleeping better, and she can go back to sleep. Her hands are less cold. Her skin, her scalp is less dry, and she has less brain fog. And then on 2/27/17, we had a 20-minute phone call. She's staying away from the foods that she's sensitive to, has a lot more energy. Bowel movements are every other day and much better. She's lost, guess what, 25 pounds. Because if you're inflamed, you're not going to be able to lose weight. I gave her a recipe on what we call these fat bombs, which help decrease inflammation. She's still tired in the morning, but here she doesn't need to take a map throughout the day. So if you found this interesting and you're looking for some help, you can get help through a functional medicine approach. Just email me, and we can do a phone consult. We can do functional medicine over the phone through Skype. There's many, many ways that you can actually get better. So again, this is Dr. Hugh Wegwerth. Take care.